So we're entering into another new launch fever upcoming, and today we're going to pit two projects that is battling in the sky between Skye and Holland as well as Penrith. So which of these two projects are actually going to win in the sky? This is what this video is going to happen, and I'm going to share with you a little bit more in details between these two projects, how they pit against each other. So if you have not followed us and subscribed to this channel, do actually like this video and put on the notification bell and subscribe to this channel, because what you will be doing is actually to trigger me to actually have more time for you to record more videos as we uncover how property market has shifted over the last couple of months, as well as how you as a busy professionals and homeowners are able to gather some of all this knowledge to help you in your project selection or even to navigate yourself in the marketplace. All right, so today I'm going to kind of cover how Skye and Holland versus Penrith is going to be determined. And at the end of this video, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you also what is actually happening into the property market. Why are prices actually scaling up high even with some of the uncertainty in the marketplace? And today we're going to pit Skye and Holland as well as Penrith at the same time. So let's just right into this. So the very first thing that I want to kind of uncover is to kind of give you an overview about what is the past projects that has been launched, how is the performance, and why do we do that? Because it also gives us a good indication of what is happening in the past to kind of pan out forward thinking. So if you can see from this, the research that I've done, right, for Ori, when it was launched during the January, and all these are the kind of the first half of the year 2025, and you can see although they have launched very well in the 86%, and even up till date the sales has been very strongly been sold. And along the way we have of course Penrith as well as Altar, and all of them are also seeing significant jump over a period of time, with 62% all the way to 85%, and Altar 65% to 68%. So some of the times when I was sharing with a lot of homeowners, you cannot just determine the launch day how many units are being sold, because some developers may have different strategies that they want to kind of slowly sell the property because they have 5 years to sell anyway, whereas some developers are more aggressive and they wish that they want actually their properties to be reaching a certain percentage in terms of the sales. So it doesn't mean that when property is being launched in the beginning that it's not performing as well, that means it's a lousy project. All right, so this is something that you really need to kind of take away, and this may not be true. Same goes for some of the projects that maybe they are fully sold, or maybe 100, very 90%, 80% sold, and that doesn't also say that that project is a good one in the end. All right, so a lot of times when we are using some of all these general terms to kind of determine property, you need to be very careful about how you are deciding. All right, so Parktown Residences was doing very well at 87%, okay, and then after that it went even till date, sales are still being continued. So usually if you can look at the data here, right, a lot of the projects when they first launch, it will take up a certain percentage and the sales will still continue. So why am I sharing with you this? Because once you can have a gauge, like this is only just a couple of months beginning of 2025, and we are seeing very healthy sales throughout. The only one that is kind of underperforming, if you want to use comparison, is of course Ville. All right, but even so, at 12% when during launch, they also went up to about 16% till date. And whereas the rest of the projects are all above 60%, 70%, or even 80% sold, right? And some of the other, you can see that the difference, like maybe even for Bloomsbury and even for the One Marina Garden, although they are lurking in the beginning, all right, but they do catch up at the end, okay, and even until now, and we're talking about maybe 3 to 5 months down in, people are still going into some of all these projects, because as the market shift, all right, prices also starts to creep out. And later on at the end of the video, I'll also be sharing with you what are the future potential of the projects that's going to be launching in 2026, just to give you a ballpark figure of where you're heading into the new marketplace. All right, so this actually is in the beginning of 2025. And then of course, after this, what has happened since June was that the rest of the projects are being launched. Okay, so you can see that today we are not talking about only the previous ones that I just showed you. Okay, there are many other projects that was launched in the June, July, and August period. So this was a very packed period during for this. And starting off, Arena East in Tanjong Rhu area, when they launched, they sold about 9%. So this was a very interesting project during then, when it kind of underperformed versus the rest of the projects, right? And being a freehold property, of course, some people will say that, oh, because the pricing is a little bit too high, or maybe the project size is small. But again, for external buyers, one of the key things that I always share is they have a unique way of purchasing property. So nevertheless, it has also went up to 11%, and they have time. They have time to actually sell their property. So I don't think they are in a need to kind of rush to sell. It's a very unique development where it really targets a certain profile of buyer pool who wants to stay there or even invest in there. And of course, after that, you will have all the Amber House. And I just want to pick out some of this much more mass market. When I talk about mass market, I'm not talking about OCR, but everybody kind of knows some of all these projects. We're talking about Linden Woods, all right? When it launched, wow, 95%. And the sales are still ongoing to almost sold 100% already. And this is also an indication that today, being in the marketplace, can we use the percentage sold as an indicator whether that project is a good project, or maybe you have a high potential or not? So the reason why I want to share with you this is just to let you know that this is also a trap that sometimes consumers will fall into, thinking that, oh, this developer, when they sold this previous development, is going to be so good, and now I should just follow. All right, so I think that is also a very dangerous way of selecting. All right, Upper House, Orchard Road, I think everybody was surprised that there are still demand, all right, in the CCR, especially in Orchard Road area, hovering about 54%, and sales has been very healthy throughout the process. Okay, and of course, W Residences, I mean, this is a very unique kind of development. That's why only about 0.3%. So, Robertson Opus, I think some of you who have followed me on my channel, you know that there was a battle of a few projects at the same time, right? We're talking about Robertson Opus, Promenade Peak, as well as Rivergreen. So these three kind of was like battling against each other. It kind of, sometimes I just find that maybe it's the way that they, I think, because of the land launch, right? So a lot of the developers, they kind of, when government launched the land, they are kind of almost the same time. And that's why when developers came in to purchase, they also want to quickly launch. And that's why recent years, we are seeing much more multiple projects battling each other. Okay, and upcoming, we are also going to get a kind of a better amount of 5 projects at the same time. So that, I think this is going to be very exciting. But the question is, to you as a homeowner and a buyer, you know, you also need to kind of tiptoe a little bit, just to be a little bit safeguarding yourself in terms of a decision, and not just jump into the hype without any decision making. All right. So why this is important? Because today, when we are looking at some of all these during Robertson Opus, Promenade Peak, Rivergreen, there was a lot of mixed kind of noises. Or some of them says that, oh, Rivergreen means CCR is rendered so cheap, versus Promenade Peak, the layout may not be as good. So if you have, you don't know what's going on, all right, and you kind of want to do a recap of some of these projects, you can actually reach out to the video that I will put up there, that you can kind of go through Rivergreen, Promenade Peak, how are the selections that I've done in those videos. All right, so check those out. And for these 3 projects, I think they did reasonably well. For Robertson Opus, 41%, and sales has been increasing, even though it's just a couple of months. And for the Promenade Peak, is 54% and has also went up. Of course, the clear winner during the 3 launches was Rivergreen at 88%. But if you can see, the sales after that also a little bit slower. Okay, so this is why we are always saying that it doesn't mean that when it's sold well, it will be sold like immediately after that. So for some of you who are still looking at some of all these projects, there are still available units. But the question is, which one is ideal for you and your plan that you can actually position yourself? Of course, Canberra Crescent. Then we have Canberra Crescent, as well as Springleaf that was launched almost the same period of time as well, right? So during this period, of course, then we will have the Canberra about 40%, as well as Springleaf at 94%. So Springleaf was definitely a clear winner in this, and I believe it shocked a lot of people. So there was a lot of noises in the marketplace about Springleaf, or why is it doing so well? And today, this afternoon, when I was visiting a client, I kind of gotten insights of Springleaf. Okay, so in order not to make a big hoo-ha in this online world, all right, if you have purchased Springleaf, or you intend to purchase Springleaf, maybe you want to kind of reach out to me and let me share with you something that I've gathered from my client who knows that area very, very well. And this information potentially could make a difference in your choice. Okay, so anyway, I said we were going to take this privately and not in the public eyes. Right, very important. All right, so if let's say today you kind of wanting to look for some of the other launches, right? So whatever has been launched, there are still upcoming ones, and we're talking about these 5 projects excluding the EC. Right, so we have Skye Holland, and these are all the number of units as well as estimated prices that is potentially going to be happening. Again, the prices are just based on our benchmark using the government land sales as well as all the expenses that they're going to put in to give you an estimation. All right, so a lot of times when a lot of homeowners, when they go and buy launches, okay, they go to Ballot. Unfortunately, they fall into various traps. So one of the key things that we wanted to help a lot of homeowners is to kind of beat the Ballot chaos. Okay, it's very confusing, right? And now is the launch season, okay, because there'll be multiple launches coming out, right? So how do you actually avoid overpaying? Or maybe even with the balance unit, are you going to get stuck if you actually go for those? So one of the key things that we want to help a lot of homeowners is to really kind of help you secure exit-ready units that you can purchase, and it's a stepping stone for you to build something more in time to come. So if you are kind of looking into some of all these projects and you kind of like, hey, what should I be doing? You may want to just scan the QR code and reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to kind of guide you through the entire process to build your legacy over time. All right, now just to give you a quick overview when the dates are. All right, so we will have Skye Holland first. All right, Skye Holland will be at the end of September, as well as Penrith in the beginning of October, and then the rest will be all in October period. So that's why the back-to-back launches are only going to confuse a lot of homeowners out there like you. So do navigate yourself, tread it very carefully. Don't just jump into it because somebody says so. I believe that you should do your homework. All right, do enough homework, do enough research, and or do just have somebody who can kind of guide you through this entire process instead of you trying to figure things out yourself. I think you can cut off a lot of time doing that. Okay. All right. So just to give you a quick overview about Skye for Skye Holland, right? So let me just increase this size so that you can see better. All right. So this one being a leasehold property. All right. The number of total units is 666 units. It's in a very convenient area. We're talking about Holland. You can't go wrong with Holland area. All right. So just some of the information here that this is a leasehold. All right. It's a very comfortable plot of size. Later on, when you see the map that I put them together, then you'll be able to see it a lot better. All right. So this is a 666 units project. And the unit mix, right, that we have here is the, I mean, they do away with the 1 bedroom, which is definitely something worth, so that they can kind of maximize the 2, 3, and the 4 bedroom. So the interesting part about this, I'm going to show you later on how Skye Holland comparable to the neighbor. Okay, how do they weigh out in terms of layout, and also some estimated prices there so that you can kind of do some comparison. So for the unit mix, you can see the 2 bedrooms and the 2+ studies are done actually very comfortably. And we also have the estimate maintenance fee. Remember, you are in Holland area, you're in Holland area, so okay, I'll pay a little bit more maintenance, is fine. Okay, I don't think you'll be so worried about maintenance. But I think what they have done carefully is to ensure that the sizes are very livable. And being a harmonized project, there are 3-bedroom starting from 915 to 1076. I think this is something that you can call for, especially when you are staying in Holland area. Not to name names of other projects, sometimes I also find it's too small. Okay, for a 4-bedroom or even some of the 3-bedrooms. Not that it's not livable. Okay, we understand the developers' context of why they do it this way in terms of the overall quantum. But ultimately, whatever you purchase, is it also going to be livable for the next buyer? All right, although we are buying from plan, the next buyer will be buying it as a resale. So eventually, they will still have to go in, step in, and see whether can they accept. All right, so this is something that you also have to be a little bit more careful about. All right, so let's go into kind of an overview about where this location is. If you don't know where Holland Village is, then maybe you are a new citizen. Okay, all right, go and visit. So Holland Village is basically you're only 300 meters away. All right, so you can, from where you are at Skye Holland, you can actually walk to one Holland Village, and you are also very close to the MRT. All right, so 300 meters to Holland Village MRT and Buona Vista MRT is about 600 meters away. So in terms of the convenience side, you can't run too far away from this, and the amenities nearby, I think no need to explain too much. If not, you can always check out the other video, all right, that I've done a little bit more in depth about Skye Holland in terms of amenities, in terms of facing, in terms of where the location is. You can check out the other video. So coming back, I want to kind of show you a little bit of the view. So being in Holland, I think this is the only plot, okay, the only plot of land that potentially you will not have any blockage in front of you at all times. Why? Because they're all GCBs. They're all GCBs. Okay, so GCBs means the maximum floor level is also what, 2.5, or maximum give you 3. So you will not have any like high rise in front of you. So generally, a lot of homeowners, when we are buying high floor units, there's always this concern. Oh, if I buy this, what is going to happen in my front if a block just kind of come up? So for this, you have minimum, I cannot 100% because plans will change, right, over the next 20-30 years. But in the mid-term, and I talk about maybe 10 years, I don't think anything will be happening to the GCB's reclassification. Or if they reclassify, I think a lot of people will complain. Okay, that's what we do the best. All right, so I think the view-wise is actually spectacular. Provided you choose the right block, right facing, also price, okay, very important. And what are the views that you potentially can get? Wow, like that. Or so Skye Holland being in the center of the entire GCB area. I think this is something that if you ask me, sometimes you have money also cannot buy. All right, so that is the also reason why I believe Skye Holland will also have a very high take-up rate. Okay, there will be a huge demand for it just because of the rareness of not only just the location, but how it's been positioned as the high-rise environment. People also pay that in various areas. People pay 1.4, 1.5 million in Toa Payoh, even in Bishan area, HDBs, because of the view. 20 overfloor, 30 overfloor, but people purchase. So I believe a lot of homeowners will want to have that kind of prestige to kind of set yourself different from the other type of projects. So that's why when I was doing my research and kind of asking around, the interest for Skye is very, very high. So if you are one of the few that also want to kind of have a choke in Holland for Skye Holland, let us know and see how we can help you with it. Okay? Yeah, so just to give you a quick overview, just take note, even though the placement of Skye Holland is very comfortable, and the distance between each block is also reasonably far. But also you must know that it's not all the view you will get on block also. So this is something that you must also be a little bit more careful about. Or don't just blindly say that, oh, because 360 degrees, everything is fully unblocked. So the distance between each other, between the blocks, I think this is always the main questions that a lot of people are always asking, like, hey, how's the distance? So you can't run away from an inward facing kind of project. Also, same for any prime location, not prime location, OCR projects, you will always have the inward facing properties. But at 30 meters, I think this is very generous. Okay, for such a land plot, they are giving you 30 meters in terms of distance to distance. I think this is very generous. And also do take note that between the block to the road area is 35 meters. All right, so this is also very generous. The only thing that you need to take note of is because later on I'll piece out the map so that you can see it a lot clearer. Why I was sharing about the distance is kind of important. You need to kind of take note a little bit of the distance here as well as here. Even though there's always setback for every project, right? Why this is important, let me show you next. All right, so this is how, why is it important? Because today you need to kind of figure out which is the best stack unit you want to go for, provided, okay, you have the margin to really go to choose those kind of units. If not, then if you are on a little bit of limitations, but you want to optimize the amount that you have, you need to take note of this, where the opposite floor levels. Okay, so we're talking about one Holland Village, they're ranging from 3 to even 7 floors. So meaning that if today you want to clear out the height of it and to have a better view, you need to clear maybe easily 9 floor and 10 floor above, or to kind of don't see just the roof. So again, I believe whatever I can think of, developer will also price their property in that sense. So anything that can clear any buildings, there will likely be a jump in terms of price point. So that is something that you need to be extra careful when you are choosing your units. Because we have seen many times where the jump in terms of per floor somehow is quite ridiculous. Okay, I have seen per floor jump 100,000 before. All right, and a lot of people don't understand. They still went to purchase the higher floor unit. So if today you may have experienced this before and you do not know how to kind of navigate yourself through the floor jump, what is the facing, the increase of percentage, how much then it makes sense for me to pay that premium, then you can actually reach out to us, because for every single client who goes through with us, we will also map out a price matrix. We will map out the floor matrix as well, right? Meaning today, should I go for 2 floor higher, or should I, in exchange for this 2 floor, I go for a different facing, or a different size. So there's a lot of different parameters that we help you to navigate your purchase, not just about how much you have, what project you want, what size you want, and let's just buy it. Okay, there's a lot more preparation that we do in order for you to actually navigate yourself into the purchase very, very safely. All right, so coming back, the other side that you also need to take note is the 7-story multi-story car park. Okay, so this is also something you need to be aware of, and how far the distance is also something that you need to be aware of. Okay, so I'm going to share with you the different layouts right now. But of course, for the layout wise, right, I'm not going to show you everything. Okay, I'm just going to show you the, let me see, the 3-bedroom. Okay, yeah, just going to show you the 3-bedroom, 3-bedroom and 3-bedroom premium. So for the 2-bed plus study, 4-bed, 4 premium plus 5-bed, right, you can actually reach out to us separately, and we can actually help you to compare how the sizes are going to be, right? Because we're going to do a lot more. Remember, this is only Skye Holland. We're going to pit it against Penrith as well later on. All right. So today, based on the layout for 3-bedroom, you can see that they do have the different 2 sizes. Okay, I mean, they have 2 sizes, but this is where I want to show you is the layout. So this is the key thing, that if today you are buying the 915 square feet unit, generally they are the same layout. It's just that you have to accept the fact that there is no yard in this configuration, but you're still getting an enclosed kitchen approach. All right, so very nicely set up, if you ask me, for the 3-bedroom. Especially they have realized the need to use space, and they have planned it in a way to try to maximize whatever they can. And you can see that the corridor is actually shorter versus most of the other 3-bedrooms right now. So I think this is a very good advantage. Balcony size, sizable, and I will touch on this a little bit. So some of you may think that the balcony are quite big. Stay on. because I'm going to show you the difference between your neighbor shortly. Okay, your neighbor. And the rest of the configuration, I think this is very comfortable for a proper 3-bedroom. So the key thing is that you must, this is where you need to take note. For the 3-bedroom, there are 2 stacks only. Okay, 2 stacks, 2 type of facing. So if today you're looking for the Holland Village view, so then it will be here. So if you are choosing the unit here, chances are prices will be a little bit more comfortable for the lower floors, okay? Because you may be being blocked by the buildings in front of you. But anything that you go above 9 and 10 floor, I believe there will be a premium that you have to accept to pay. But yet at the same time, I think for the view to pay that premium, 100% secured, it could be a living lifestyle value that you give yourself. So I always share that today, no matter what, there will always be a cost of living. Cost of living means what? Oh, because I want high floor, then there's a cost of living there. If you want to have a certain location, there's also a cost of living that you need to factor into your purchase. And unfortunately, a lot of homeowners always factor that as a discount in the prices. Okay, so every one of us, we have a certain standard of living. We want to, enjoy lifestyle in a different way, whether it's high floor, seeing the sea, when you open out the window, you see the sea view. You see, all these are costs of living. So you do need to pay that premium in order to get that. So this is something you also need to be very aware of. And the other 915 square feet, if you ask me, both configurations, slight difference. Okay, very, very slight difference. The only key thing is the entrance. Okay, one is a slightly longish, the other one is kind of a mini L shape. So the rest of the configuration is not much different. All right, but the facing is different. All right, the facing for the slightly longer corridor is basically inward facing. Okay, let me just blow this up. It's inward facing. Yeah. So inward facing, if you ask me, chances are if you are able to get the lower floor units, there will also be a premium. But on the higher floor, may not be that jump of a height because you're just seeing our neighbors, right? But the good thing is that we're talking about a 20, 30 meters gap. So will that be a turning point for you not to accept inward facing? I don't believe so. Because we have seen projects where the inward facing, in order for the developer to sell it, they kind of price it very attractively. Okay, very attractive versus the other premium facing. But because of price, all right, the buyers will say, hey, this is actually more acceptable for me in terms of a price range, and they still go for the inward facing. So ultimately, it still comes down to the pricing that you can afford, and not to overstretch yourself because I want this, I want that. If you want everything, then everything will come with a premium as well. All right. So for this is a 3-bedroom configuration. Then of course, if you go to the 3-bedroom premium, which is at 1076 square feet. Okay, let me just maybe show you both. Again, the slight difference is the entrance. Okay, the entrance different. Okay, one is a slightly longer aisle, and the other one is shorter. And that also tells you the facing is a lot different. So the longer runway for your corridor space is inward facing, okay? And the one that is shorter is outward facing. So I always share that today, if let's say you are talking about property selection, you do need to have a certain priority. What is your priority? Is it price? Is it the facing? So then you kind of weigh out which is your priority to kind of decide how you select property. So that's the reason why a lot of our clients, when they're coming on through us for the selection of the units, we do a lot of preparation work before you even select the property. Okay. And so next, I want to kind of just give you a quick overview, because some of the people that actually reached out to us, they were saying that, hey, then like that, if I buy Skye Holland, it's really so expensive. There are so many supply there coming up. Will we be stuck in time to come? So that's why I show you for Skye Holland. So this is Skye Holland, okay, as well as One Holland Village. You can see that the breakdown of the number of units across the board is actually the supply is not high. because there's not much land there that they can build condominiums. So the rest of them are all landed GCBs, right? So you can see the number of percentage. So for One Holland Village, actually they took up almost 17% for the 1 and 2 bedrooms, which generally are for investment purposes, and about 30% is for own stay, which is the 3 and 4 bedroom. So this is where Skye Holland differentiates. Okay, I mean, as a developer, as a business owner, I also want to differentiate my product a little bit more so that the buyers will see the differentiation and willing to pay more also. Okay, so for Skye Holland, they actually did only just 55% for the 1 and 2 bedroom and 45% for own stay. So I believe ever since just before COVID until now, we are seeing a shift in developers building their property type, or should I say the number of units and the breakdown. A lot of them are slowly going into bigger size units, even though everyone was saying that just before COVID, if you can realize, the developers are going smaller and smaller and smaller. But ever since after COVID, the size keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. All right, so I think this is also the reason why harmonization was introduced, and that also allows the space to be better utilized for our sanity sake, livability. All right, so why is this important that I share with you in terms of the number of units? Because today, how many of you agree that today, if you are going for a 1 to 2 bedrooms, chances are you are just buying it, and maybe after a couple of years, you want to sell it off. And with this coming in, then you have to make a logical decision. Today, should I go for a high supply kind of environment, or should I go for a low supply kind of environment? So that also equates that today it also depends on your own affordability. If you ask me if you have a choice to go for a higher quantum unit based on this, it's ideally go for the 3 or 4 bedrooms, because the number of percentage of supply is really not enough. Okay, in this kind of location. Of course, you can kind of add on all the one-off projects to say that, oh, there's a lot of supply there. But hey, Holland Village is different, right? You cannot classify that against those. So the number of supply for the bigger units in terms of 3, 4, or even 5 bedroom, right, are actually quite limited in the area. Give and take, of course, the surrounding, we have a lot of these smaller projects with freehold, but some of their plate size is too big as well. So it may not be easy for anybody to afford based on your affordability. So I think Skye Holland, they have actually done a very pretty good job in lowering you into the right type of development and the unit types. Okay, so let's say today, if you look at both, you can see very clearly comparison for One Holland Village as well as Skye Holland side by side. And Skye Holland, in terms of space, is already much, much bigger. So this is also one of the reasons why they are able to build 666 units for that. So I also want to kind of use this chance to kind of address the layout. So we do have some questions regarding Skye Holland, like will people there actually look at this kind of compact size development where surrounding are all GCBs, they are big properties? Will buyers actually look to buy in Skye Holland even in the future? Or maybe even will there be buyers who look at that you can sell to? Right? So is that also one of your questions and concerns? If it is, and you do have some other questions, do kind of put in the comment section so that I can help you address some of all these things through my future videos. Yeah, so this is also a common question that we have. And that's where we want to kind of dive into today, what is already been accepted, okay, in Holland Village area. What is the kind of layout that before Skye Holland, people are already purchasing at One Holland Village as a benchmark. So that you can use it as a very clear indicator. Why? Because One Holland Village is just TOP. They are very new. They are also a leasehold property. So some of the common traits are quite similar. But we are only using it as a reference point. Okay, reference point meaning it's not supposed, nobody can predict what's going to happen, but we can use it as a benchmarking. Okay, so that's what we're going to try to do, to kind of look into the various layout types. Okay, so I'm going to just pick the 2 bedrooms, the 3 bedroom, as well as the 4-bedroom, just to give you a overview what is actually happening that people can already accept in today's marketplace in Holland area. All right, so this is 2-bedroom. So on the left, you have Skye Holland, 2-bedroom layout, and on the right is the Holland Village layout. Okay, so let us just take a look at Skye at Holland for 2-bedroom, right? This is a harmonized project, and being a dumbbell, right, you can see dumbbell. Okay, dumbbell unit. The configuration, of course, so first of all, it saves a lot of space. And I think what I really appreciate is that they did not do a very long entrance into the unit. All right, we have seen some, it's like, wow, I think you can run 100 meters, kind of very long entrance, right? And a tuck-in kitchen is always a bonus, if you ask me. But of course, being a dumbbell unit, I think one of the configuration you must also be aware is, although it does save you space, meaning they kind of no corridor, wasted space. So that kind of discount a little bit more because your aircon latch is really not included in the space, and being a harmonized, everything is more well laid out. But you do need to be a little bit more careful when you purchase such a unit, especially when you take the key and you intend to stay or you intend to rent it out. So one of the common concerns that we usually get for 2-bed, 2-bath is that the wall space may be limited. So this is something that we always will highlight to our buyers, whether it's during the discussion or whenever we visit a show flat. We will highlight some of all these key things that maybe you don't see it if you are doing it on your own. Okay, because you do not know what are the things to take note of. You may not have the experience of actual product output because you have to wait 2 years, 3 years, then you'll be able to see it yourself, right? But because we have done so many, we know what are the things to be aware of so that we don't make the mistakes. So just wanted to share with you for dumbbell units, one of the key concerns is sometimes is the wall space here may not be long enough. It may not be long enough for sofa, may not be long enough for your TV console. So kind of you're being tucked into one corner. But that's why I like Skye Holland, because what they have done is they created a space just for dining. I think this is a very smart move. So the post-harmonized, the pre-harmonized kind of projects, right? A lot of them, they have to share your living hall and your dining together. So then it's like, hey, where do I place my, it's like kind of not enough space. But what Skye Holland they did was they carve out one additional space just for dining. I think this is very smartly used, and you can use the entire area, even an L-shaped sofa, if you want to, for your living corner. All right. So another thing that I appreciate a lot is the balcony space. Not too big, not too small, just nice. So you can use it as function as a laundry area. You can't run away from not having a laundry, or you can just double it up as a cozy corner, cozy balcony, provided you go for the high view. Wow, then very nice. All right, the other size that they have is 732 square feet. And this is, of course, also a dumbbell configuration. So very similar, but the 732 is plus a study. So this is the only thing that I find that when they are doing this, the unit is, the study is at the master room. So what do you all think? Is it a smart move, or it's kind of weird? Comment below so we can have a dialogue and discussion on it. Okay, so chances are for the 2+ study, averagely should be hovering about the $3,100 per square foot. Of course, this is just an indication. It can go up, it can go down, right? But based on my estimate for a 732, it should hover about 2.3 million range. Okay, as a guideline. So if we compare this to One Holland Village, right? I think a few things, even though they have a very big 947, this is a PAS kind of layout. That means the ground floor, right? You can see that they have a huge space that is I won't say cannot use, kind of not livable, or you won't sleep in your balcony, right? Basically, right? But there are other layouts, which is the 797, okay, which is already transacted averagely about 2.2 million. You can see the whole difference. Even though this is the normal corridor traditional layout, right? They have a corridor wasted space. Yeah, I mean, this is short enough, so I wouldn't call it a wasted space, it's just space. But I think the thing that I cannot accept is the balcony. Okay, I think too big. This is like a 10, 12 years old kind of URA guideline that's why the developers build very big balcony. I think that has changed. Can you imagine if they have just half the balcony space, you will have a better livable area in terms of living as well as your dining. So this is, I mean, this is what it is. So we can't comment too much. But if you compare both Skye Holland and One Holland Village, just ask yourself, in the event after you purchase Skye Holland and you want to sell it in the next 4, 5, 6 years down the road, and the buyer come over and say, oh, I want to buy a 2-bedroom, they will definitely go and see One Holland Village as well. When they go to see One Holland Village and when they see you, based on the livability, which one will they go for? Right? So it's always about how you're going to exit. That's why we are always helping our clients to buy what? Exit ready kind of property. Not about what you buy, it's better can you exit from it or not, right? So this is extremely important. So let's take a look at the 3-bedroom now. Okay, 3-bedroom, the Skye Holland configuration, just now we already kind of cover. Averagely, it should range about the 3.4 to 3.5 million range, estimated about $3,200 per square foot. Again, price point is just an estimate. I don't want to overpromise. Okay, so everybody don't know. Also, there's this narrative in the market. Oh, they buy the land so cheap, I should sell it cheap. They should sell it cheap to me. What do you think? All business owners, all got shareholders. Okay, I leave it to you to decide. All right, so configuration for 3-bedroom, I think this is very nicely done. All right, so the uniqueness is that they also have kind of a dry kitchen configuration. But dry kitchen, I call it a pantry. Not even a dry kitchen, but it's an additional space that you can make use of, and together with a wet kitchen. So I think cleverly done for the 3-bedroom, 1076 square feet. You have a proper household shelter as well as a yard and a toilet. I think this is very, very important for any family staying. And as we shift from kind of smaller development into a more livable, functional layout of developments, right? You need to be extra aware about some of all these small little things, all right? So that you can kind of optimize your property a lot more when compared to others. All right, so the 1076 square feet, I think this is very nicely done. The kitchen is a little bit small if you ask me. Okay, that's the reason why they choose to do a dry kitchen outside. But again, the rest of it is actually very, very livable. Because if you compare to One Holland Village, even though the sizes are bigger at 1098 or even 1281, you are able to see the main difference. The very number one main difference is definitely the balcony space, that it links all the way to the bedroom. So this is the reason why I say that this kind of balcony link to bedroom kind of quite old school, or only old school developments, and they actually have this kind of configuration. Yeah, but again, the balcony already takes up, I don't know, easily 100 square feet or 120 square feet. So your actual livable space actually becomes smaller. And the other 1,281 square feet, again, L-shaped balcony. Okay, so I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing a balcony huge. I think the reason why the developers do that also because if you're on a high floor, you open up a balcony, you enjoy the view. So it really depends on what you're looking at. Are you looking at lifestyle? That means you really appreciate the balcony and you're willing to pay a premium for that balcony because you're going to use it very often to entertain friends. Or are you the other camp where you prefer livable area and the balcony is just a once a while kind of enjoyment? The decision is up to you on what you prioritize. All right. So this is also, I think, very important. So I'm going to just give you a quick overview about the 4 bedroom. All right. So One Holland Village 4 bedroom. Why I use it to compare to a 5 bedroom because of size. So again, 4 bedroom for One Holland Village. They just are emphasizing on lifestyle. I mean, can you imagine if you're 24, you oversee the GCB? I think the feeling quite nice. But how much premium are you paying for it? Like for this 4-bedroom premium, you're almost paying about 6 million, about there. And for Skye Holland, you can easily get a 5-bedroom, also with a private lift and all. So the configuration is different. But when you want to compare, always compare it with your surrounding, not only just on layout, prices, to kind of give you a better sense of where the prices are going to be and whether can you accept this later on. So I'm just going to flash this. This is of course not the official pricing, just to give you a benchmark in the event what are the per square foot range. And I'm very, very, very conservative. Again, not over promising anything. That's why we start with the $2,800 per square foot all the way. So this is the part where if let's say today you are kind of looking also into Skye Holland or even other projects, right? One of the things that we do is really to help you pit against the price point versus not only just the average per square foot like this, but even per floor level jump, okay, and the facing differences. So we will have our own floor level as well as facing level matrix at the same time. So this is able to help you make better decisions when doing the selection bit, all right? Because during that period, I don't know how many of you have went through it before. Sometimes it can be very overwhelming, very confusing because everything kind of speeds up. When you go in, everything kind of times 5 on the speed because you need to make decision very quickly. So if today you are going in blindly and the ballot is going to be a chaos to you, then you may want to kind of sit back and kind of pre-plan ahead and run through some of our key criteria and some of our pricing matrix to kind of understand today in the event if the unit you really do not have already, is it still worth to continue to purchase a higher floor unit or lower floor unit? So there are a lot more different decisions that you need to make. And the best part is that we are doing all this preparation ahead for you so that you can have an ease during the selection. All right, so if you find that this kind of things is going to help you prepare yourself better, then of course you can always scan the QR code because we really want you to kind of avoid all this ballot chaos. Okay, it's going to be a chaos if you're underprepared. And especially this season, there's so many new launches. Some of you maybe, should I go for this? Should I go for that? You know, and sometimes if you did not do enough homework, you maybe end up overpaying for this. And remember, I always shared about exit ready. Okay, you really want to make sure that the purchase that you're going for can help you to exit to the next level. All right, so these are some of the launches that's upcoming. So moving forward, I'm going to kind of share with you Penrith. All right, so just take note, because Penrith, the full information is not out yet. So, but if you really want to kind of understand more about Penrith, then you can actually subscribe to the video, all right, turn on the notification bell, so that when I have the first-hand information about Penrith, I will also share with you a little bit more. So, right now, today, I'm going to share with you how Penrith and the Skye Holland somehow same but different also. Okay, so this is how you are able to get the information. So for Penrith, right, this is 462 units, 2 towers of 40 stories. So some of the similarity between Skye and this one is they're all also very high rise. And the best part is that all of them also can see view or your view is actually quite comfortable. So also these whole properties both are also in locations where, if you ask me, is very highly desirable. So I believe when Penrith GRS was sold at Margaret Drive, there was so much talk about what is it about, you know. But again, I will also share with you some of the things that I kind of take note of for Penrith. It's not 100% everything is a good thing. So that's why we are here to kind of do a more comparison, so that when we are in discussion, we are able to kind of help you to decide, like, is this the project that you should go for in time to come? All right. So this is, I think, the Penrith information. So where is Penrith? So Penrith, if you're familiar with Queenstown area, you cannot go, we will not know this. All right, it's in Commonwealth. So the thing about Penrith, right, which is here, let me just draw it out. Okay, by Quaco then. This is the first launch since Sterling Residences in 2018. So the last one was in 2018. And So Penrith is definitely a much anticipated development in the Queenstown area. So we're very close. I mean, it's very close to city center, right? And we have friends who are staying in there. They were like, no, I will not move out from here. So that's why in Singapore there are some locations, we call it the true fence. Okay, true fence means no matter what, no matter where other locations are going to transform, going to have a lot more things, they still stick to their estates where they are so convenient. And I have the first-hand experience understanding that, going through it as well. So I totally agree. Where once you're in a very centralized location that is well connected, is easy accessible, you really can't go somewhere else. So I also U-turn back to the same area where it's so convenient for me, not just for lifestyle, but for work as well. So this is, I think that's why Penrith, if you ask me, even like Skye Holland, they both have these similar traits where the people staying there, they will also want to buy back the same area, or they just want to stay around the area. So in a short message, it's like everybody is just selling and buying to each other, whether it's the next generation or to the next generation. So of course, for Queenstown area, we are also having some minor transformations going on, but it's not massive. It's not massive because it's already a older estate. So for them to rejuvenate older estates, it takes a little bit more longer time. But because it's already a mature town, a mature area, you also need to take note that today you're also, for the convenience and this maturity, there's also a premium that you need to pay for. All right, so this is something that I share in my another video. Do you want to go into a location where there's nothing, meaning you only have upcoming things maybe in the next couple of years, and then you buy into this location early to wait for this to be a reality? So in this case, if you are in this kind of group, then you can actually enter at maybe a much more lower pricing, but there's nothing. On the other side of things is, if you really value the convenience, you want the transportation to be there, you want to go down, hawker center is there, makan is there, and in a mature kind of setting, then there will definitely be certain premium to exchange. So it goes back to the lifestyle choice and the value you put for your lifestyle again. Okay, so that's why for Queenstown, you can see everything is there, already there, I would say, or everything you have from a canal park also have, public library also have, you want hawker center also have, HDB around the area, everything you already have. So very mature, meaning that today for you to buy into it is also a form of what? Security. So security also comes with a price. So these are all the things that we need to accept so that our expectation, our benchmarking is clearer. So to give you a quick overview, so where Penrith is, the yellow color one is Penrith, very close to Queenstown MRT. And surrounding, these are the few projects. That's all. Okay, very limited. And for Penrith, it's like another thing very similar to Holland. Skye and Holland is they are potentially the last plot of land that is for condominium. Okay, because of how the placement of the other land nearby may not be zoned for other purposes. So for Penrith, it's like your one chance to own a new property in Queenstown area. Very rare, very rare. All right, so some of these projects you can see. So why do I want to share this to kind of pull out the exercise? Because we do get some comments that hey, Penrith, the land size very small. Correct. If you look at land size, then the next question you see the number of units also very little, which is no doubt if you compare to the rest of it. So I think if you ask me, Penrith it's not the smallest lah. Okay, Margaret Ville is the smallest, and then how do they pan out against each other? Later on, we'll do some numbers comparison just to give you a quick overview. And so these are the rest of our RCR kind of zone. And if you look at the view perspective, of course, Penrith, you are also going through this GCB side. Okay, unobstructed, potentially is permanent also lah. So that's why it's very comparable to Skye, provided you choose the correct unit, correct facing, and your pocket got enough also. Alright, but I think this is something that a lot of buyers are actually waiting. First, they are definitely Queenstown lovers. They stay there. They may be Dawson upgraders. Right. Of course, they have other choices, right? They can choose other developments, but of course, all the other developments all are being blocked on. Whether it's HDB, you know, some of the landed nearby also. But Penrith is, I think, potentially the permanent arm or shorter view. So this is definitely a drawing point why a lot of demand about this project in this location. And the north-south facing configuration is also something that we need to be aware of. Of course, when you have north-south, then you have east-west. We will have to see where the west is, okay, how they configure it. And so to the north of Penrith, this is potentially how the view is going to be. So very similar, right, to how Skye at Holland is going to be. So again, better of the skies. One is at Holland, one is at Queenstown. Price point wise, that one we'll leave it to the next video to kind of really dive in deeper. Since Penrith, we do not have the full information, including the layouts yet. So once I have the layout configuration, I will definitely do a video. And so stay tuned to subscribe to this channel. So I want to kind of cover a little bit more like, so this is Penrith. And they're all zoned for residentials. But if you can see all the small number, 1.4, 2.1, all these are indications of the height level of the building. Okay, so even though they are residential area, they also subject to change if need to based on master plan. But based on the latest 2025 draft master plan, everything is still status quo. And so you can see the 1.4 types, you can go maximum 5-story, 1.6, 12-story, 2.1, 24. So it goes on and on. Okay, on and on. So that's why Penrith is 4.2. So you can go very, very high. So this one also last plot. The Skye Holland also last plot. Who will win? All right, maybe you all can comment in the section like which one do you think will actually outperform in terms of sales? Okay, on launch day lah. Let's make a guess lor. Okay, let's have fun and make a guess. So share your thoughts like why Skye Holland maybe will be performing better, or even Penrith will be performing better. All right, so this is something that we will do, and as I mentioned, once I have the layout, I will do another video to share with you all, and I will also use it to compare to Skye Holland to see how do they pan out to each other. And if I have the time, I will also do it for the other projects. How many of you want to see the other projects also? Then you all can just feedback in the comment section, and I'll do my very best to pull out some time to do it. Another thing that I want to kind of give you some insights. All right, so since Penrith, we don't have much information about the layouts. I think pricing is much more important to me. All right, so every time when we are guiding our clients in, we always pre-prepare them in ahead for price, and using surrounding comparison to kind of give us a benchmark of how the prices are going to be. So for the surrounding, right, you can see these are the few projects that is nearby, and I rank them in terms of TOP. So Sterling Residences is the youngest, followed by Margaret, Ville, Queen's Peak, Commonwealth Tower, then Alexis. Of course, Alexis is a freehold property, so do take note of this. All right, so I want to kind of pull apple to apple comparison. Also cannot be 100% apple to apple because of the type of units there. Like for example, Sterling Residences is close to 1,300 units. Then Margaret View is only 300. Then where does Penrith lies? It's like in between, okay, neither here, neither there. But we also use this as a benchmark just to see a huge comparison. So once the layout are out and we have a little bit more insights about the pricing, I will also do another set of video to really dive into each specific projects nearby. But for today, since you are here, I will also be sharing with you what is actually happening to Commonwealth Tower. All right, so Commonwealth Tower, just take note, this is a 2017 TOP, okay, leasehold, of course, and this total number of units is talking about 845. Okay, 845. That's why we don't want to use Sterling, because Sterling is too big. But Commonwealth Tower, 800 something, okay lah, we can use that kind of to do a benchmark. And ever since they launched, right, from 2014 all the way to 2025, they launched about 1,600 plus on average per square foot, and it has climbed up to $2,200 per square foot, which means based on an average of the last couple of years, right, about 10 years, right, it grew an average about 3.2% per year, right? So that is stretching the value, all right? So about 3.2% average per year, and the prices on average, the lowest per square foot, if you can see from here, it ranges just under $2,000 per square foot. The average for all the different types of sizes, regardless of floor level, is also about $2,200 per square foot already. And the highest transacted has went up to $2,500 per square foot. That's the reason why we will have to use average as a benchmark to determine, hey, today for Commonwealth Tower, being since the 2017 TOP until now, the averaging is already 2002. So this will also help us to determine how the Penrith launch is going to be from an estimate. So the key thing is that you must also take note that I think the performance for all the projects in Queenstown has been extremely well. I think it's also because of the connectivity, the near to town kind of vibe that everybody loves, right? You can see their profitability. Okay, there are no non-profitable properties in Commonwealth. Okay, and all of them are profitable. So you can see that on average, even a 3-bedroom, they are hovering about 5%, and then the smaller units are hovering about 2 to even 3%. The two bedroom to three bedroom can be ranging about 4 to even 5% kind of range. So this is very comfortable in terms of growth on an annual basis. We're talking on an annual basis. So some of them for the 3-bedroom, they can go up to even $1 million in terms of profit. So disclaimer again, I don't like to sugarcoat on this kind of stuff. Of course, a lot of them benefited from the big packet bonus that COVID gave. Okay, so while that is a huge bonus to many homeowners, congratulations to you if you're one of them. The key thing is that you need to tread this very carefully and not only use this as the benchmark for you to move forward next. Because if you have that benchmark to move forward next, then chances are you'll be very miserable thinking, why is it that my property don't grow like last time? Okay, this is something just to share that you may mistaken and just fall into this trap again. So the Commonwealth Tower performs very well, and let us just then we use smaller development just to see, hey, is it really true that a smaller development in terms of number of units are going to affect in terms of performance, shall we? All right, so Margaret Ville, okay, 309 units, okay, but this is one of the younger 2021 property. So if you ask me, because the TOP 2021, the overall market for this project has not matured well yet. So that's the reason why you can see that although they launched about 1,008 plus, they are still also hovering about 2002, very similar to Commonwealth Tower, even though Commonwealth Tower is older, okay, in terms of maybe about 4 years, 5 years difference. So this is where sometimes when you're looking at data, you may mistaken that, hey, then Margaret Ville is not a good property. That means the number of units, I shouldn't choose a small development. Right? So while this may seems correct on the front, I think for you to just blanket statement it is also unfair, or maybe you should give yourself permission to really dive a little bit more into this. So there's always like for example, some of these developments where we see that the performance is not as good. The question you must ask yourself is, has it matured yet? Okay, this development matured yet that the prices are going to be this way forever? Or could this project still have potential for growth in the next 1 to 2 years, but because you did not do enough research, you may end up selling your property earlier than later. So this is something of a trap that we constantly see. Homeowners are being advised to sell because the property is not growing. But what if you sell it too early? All right, because for property, there's always a lifespan. There's always a timeline for you to enter and exit. So there's also the reason why even for the longest time that I've been doing the business, I have never advised clients to sell the property within their SSD period. which is previously 3 years. Because from a usual market sentiment perspective, 3 years is too short to see really a huge increase, or should I say a huge difference in terms of your margin in term for your property. So while a lot of narrative in the market has been saying just sell during TOP, you will make the most, etc., etc. Nothing wrong with that. But are you giving yourself enough chance to mature it somehow? So this is where we will help you to actually look into exiting at the same time. All right, are we supposed to exit right now? What are the pros and cons for us to exit now? What if we hold it for the next 1 to 2 years? Would we have better upsides? So I think these are all very important decision making that you need to make, and that's why we are here to provide you that information. So for Margaret, Ville, 1,800 plus per square foot, but now almost the same per square foot at 2002. And you can see that the average, their lowest per square foot is also close to 2,000, and average about 2001, and the highest is about 2,300, close to 2004. So on average for this development, they are growing about 2.4% per year. Okay, about 2.4%. But if you look at the profitable, they also have no non-profitable transactions. Okay, so everything is profitable. But of course, the numbers will have a little bit difference because of the time, right? So you can see that their annualized performance, if you compare to Commonwealth Tower, is not as it's not comparable. It's a little bit different, about 1%. But the question is that 1% going to deter you from purchasing properties in that location? All right. Give and take, whether you're buying it for investment or whether you're buying for own stay, there's always a time that you need to factor in. Because you may say that, oh, today, if I go into the market, will there be this development for you? Or should I say, if you want to enter it 2 years later because you want to wait for the market or whatever, will there be similar land plot of projects that you can purchase? So this is also something you need to be aware of. So one of the key things that I also, through this, right, I just want to share with you a little bit of my insights is that if you look at the 1 bedroom, right? Okay, the 1 bedroom, and even the 2 bedrooms, here, if you look at it, we're talking about maybe over about 2%. Okay, the 2 bedroom, this one is 4.2%. You can see that it ranges a lot. But if let's say we look at the 1 bedroom, 0.85, 1 bedroom, 1.885, you can see that the difference between the 2 bedroom growth and the 3 bedroom. You can see the 3 bedroom is almost 5%. The 3 bedroom can go even 4%. Right. So why am I sharing with you this? Because today, right, you must understand today, if let's say you are going for a 1 or 2 bedroom unit, you must ask yourself, what's your objective? Are you intending to use this property as a stepping stone? And likelihood, if you ask me, I will advise you to do that. Meaning you have to start looking at your 1 and 2 bedroom as what you can afford to start your property journey. It's not supposed to be your last property that, oh, I want to choose until the best location and then I buy and I just want to hold on to it. Okay, so 1 or 2 bedroom, why is this so? Because the margin for 1 and 2 bedroom has always been capped. There's always a certain limitation. And what you want to do is you want to use your 1 and 2 bedrooms kind of margin to grow next, to climb up the legacy ladder, meaning going for a bigger unit after that. So the bigger the unit size, whether you can go for a 3 bedroom or even 4 bedroom after that, right? Then the significant percentage will increase as well. So this is where I also shared that today, based on the numbers, sometimes you have to be a little bit more careful in not jumping into seeing the data from a COVID period. Okay, you need to kind of look at what is before COVID and what happens after COVID to kind of do some adjustment in terms of expectations. If not, it will be very dangerous for you to fall into the trap of the next property I'm going to buy is going to perform the same. Okay, so again, that is a red packet bonus during that period. So I believe many of you have to be a little bit more careful. And one of the key things is that you have to ask yourself, are you actually speculating in the market without you realizing? So what's speculating? So as I shared just now, some people were saying that, oh, you sell in TOP, then you can actually flip to the next property. I think these are all speculation yet. So I believe there's a time frame per property. So I've done one video that I talk about the lifespan of each property and when you enter and exit. and at which phase and which stage you should be commanding your holding on, how long you should be holding on to your property for a period of time to kind of optimize the growth potential and optimizing the potential of the property as well, right? So this is something that is very important. And so recently, right, the key thing is that we have a lot of homeowners actually reach out to us, multiple requests from many people reaching out. And actually, I decided for very long that a lot of homeowners out there, even for new launch buyers like you yourself, you do need help. And you kind of are trying to figure things out on your own. And at the end of the day, you realize you are not confident in doing that. So I decided very long, okay, they decided very long to actually come out in person to do a 2 days live workshop, okay? And this live session, right, is really to how can you position your property to build more than a 6 million worth of net asset value in a shorter period of time. So how can we use our age, our loan, our time, and our ability to optimize instead of using 20 years to grow a net asset of more than 6 million? Can we shorten it to even less than 10 years? So why am I sharing with you this? Because I think every one of us, when we are looking at property, we want to retire very comfortably. And at the same time, perhaps having the chance to even grow additional pot that we can help our next generation, our legacy planning, right? So I want to help you all to kind of grow and climb this legacy ladder step by step. And you cannot wait until later then you start. You want to start now, so that when you are younger, when you have the loan, you have the ability, you may want to take this into consideration to really build your legacy ladder step by step. So in this 2 days workshop, you're basically just one property away from building a $6 million worth of net asset in terms of a legacy. And I'll be providing you a step-by-step personalized legacy ladder that we can build on the spot. Okay, so it's going to happen really soon. Of course, if you like this kind of retirement plan, you want to kind of build it for future proving, and then this workshop is something that is for you lah. So it's going to be very soon. We're going to do this very closed door, very closed door setting. So if you want to be part of this, just comment below, or maybe you can find a WhatsApp in the description that you'd like to attend this 2 days workshop, and my team will run through with you the details. I will be only looking at about 30 packs, so I want to keep it very compact and more intimate lah. Okay, so that I can kind of know you better, so I can see what I can do to help you. And this session, just to clarify, it's not a sit down and listen to my grandfather's story kind of 2 days. Okay, this session is you're going to go through a lot of hands-on, a lot of implementation to really go hands-on to build your own legacy ladder. Okay, so that's where I'm going to impart my years of experience and what I've known and what I've done it for myself to empower you with that, so that you can start planning it and start doing it on the spot. We will guide you also to, because of your own legacy plan, your own legacy ladder, how are you going to choose the correct type of property to help you move forward? Alright, so a lot of times homeowners, they make the mistake. It's not that they never buy property. It's they buy the wrong property that's get them stuck and they cannot move forward up the legacy ladder. Right? So this is why in these 2 workshops, I'm going to help you uncover what are the mistakes that people make, what are the traps that usually homeowners fall into that they cannot climb this legacy ladder. Okay, so this is why we are here to actually guide you through. Again, we're going to run this actually quite soon. And like I said, it's a very intimate session. So if you find that this is something that you want to be part of, to kind of lay out your own property journey very properly, then you can actually reach out to us some way or another, and we're going to help you in that process. All right. So if you find that today's session is really beneficial, well, do subscribe and like the channel so that we can actually continue to actually do more videos for you. And for those of you who are very interested in doing the selection for Skye Holland, and you want to be updated with all more information about Skye Holland, then you want to kind of scan the QR code and reach out to us so that we can help you beat the ballot chaos, okay, during this period. And at the same time, how can we help you with our overly prepared planning to ensure that you don't overpay for a certain property and that you can choose the right exit ready properties in Skye Holland, all right, which is the first launch that's coming up, or even the other launches that you are actually going for. You can actually scan the QR code and reach out to us and let us see how we can help you get clarity and confidence in your selection. All right, with that, thank you so much. I see you guys. Cheers.